When Ottawa was chosen as the capital of the province of Canada in 1857, the government needed new buildings to house the legislature and public servants. Construction contracts for all three buildings were initially awarded to Thomas McGreevy. However, he was given authority to relinquish the contracts for the East and West blocks to Jones, Haycock and Company on December 7, 1859. Once Nepean sandstone was chosen for much of the stonework, Jones, Haycock and Company looked to quarry the stone somewhere in Nepean Township. In 1860 and 1861, they bought parts of Lot 5 and 6, Concession 2 Ottawa Front in the township for 5 years. Lot 6 was owned by Henry Bishop, an early settler from Ireland, like many settlers along Corkstown Road. Bishop had built a house of the Nepean sandstone found on his property. The quarry employed over 100 men, and the work was often arduous. At the end of a long day, the workers would gather at Bishop's house for drinks, entertainment, and for some boarding. The two-story stone house, which became a tavern and inn, was known to many as Bishop's Palace. A century later, in 1961, the National Capital Commission was in the process of expropriating properties for the Greenbelt, and Lot 6 was included. Prior to purchasing the property on June 13, 1961, the NCC considered keeping Bishop's Palace for farming use, despite needing substantial renovations. The Director of Information Division with the NCC at the time recommended the house be preserved due to its history and that it was the only house in the area to use sandstone instead of limestone. However, by then, plans were in place to build the extension of the Queensway parallel to Corkstown Road. In 1966, the NCC decided the house was beyond repair and could not be moved, so they were in favor of demolition and removed the flooring for the Canadiana Room at 24 Sussex Drive. News of the demolition made it to the papers, but the NCC justified it, saying, "The house had no important historical significance. It was very run down and expensive to renovate. It was very costly to move, and it stood in the way of progress, the construction of the Queensway." By the end of 1966, Bishop's Palace was gone.